I've had my own vices, I guess I'm going to say, in the past that I didn't even have to push out of my life. They just fell off and I don't even think about it anymore. So that just lets you know that when you're moving towards your manifestation and you're gaining more clarity and you're becoming more of your true self, those things that we call base desires and root chakra desires and stuff, they tend to fall by the wayside and you don't even have to fight them off, right? Hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Jameelah. I am an author, a professor, and of course, a master manifester. I hope you all are having a good day because today I want to talk about when you're manifesting the things in your life that start to fall away. Because when I think about manifesting and I think about creating a life that you desire, and that's not by default, I always think about it's just more and more clarity. It's clarity and relaxing. It's clarity, exposing yourself to new things so that you have new ideas, or you are very quiet in the mind, peaceful in the mind, and you become very intuitive and you start developing this idea of yourself and the life that you want to live based on this very sharp clarity that continues to happen over time, right? So when I think about clarity, I think about 5 things that start like dropping off when you begin to get closer to your manifestations, or when you become a better manifester altogether. One of those 5 things, well, my number one thing is the different ways of thinking. So I think about how you might see the world and how you might interpret people's behavior, what they're doing, what they're thinking, how you see different events or different occurrences that happens in the social environments, how you see different events that might have happened in your childhood, may have happened in relationships from the past, that may happen with your children or your mates or all those sort of things. There's different ways of thinking that are not serving you, and as you start to gain that sharper clarity and you start to move forward in your manifestations, those ways of thinking will start to fall off, especially if you let them, right? Because sometimes we can be so convinced that one way of seeing the world is the best way of seeing it, and that it means something and it has so much power and it has so much sentiment, it's so sentimental to us that we're so reluctant to let it go. And I see that there's a few really big subjects that I know of. People that I know, myself, have had a hard time to kind of drop those ways of thinking in order to develop into a bigger version of yourself. One of the biggest ones that I can think of when it comes to different ways of thinking is seeing life as a series of occurrences that I'm attracting, and when I'm not truly focused, I'm in the surroundings of other people attracting specific things to their life. I don't see life as anything happening to me, and especially anything negative happening to me. And it really doesn't matter what occurs. I never see it as something that is out to get me in some kind of way. I don't see people as out to get me. Even when my brain tries to make me all suspicious and petty or something along those lines, I always remember, there's no one that is worried about me in that way. So it's like a way that I shifted in thinking that I couldn't even think in the old way anymore. It's like I shedded that mindset. And even though it may occur on different occasions and small pieces of that might pop up, it's less and less impactful every single time. So definitely your ways of thinking might shift. Number 2 is people tend to call their friendships and bonds that they have. So you have these, this is not uncommon. You have friendships that are like from high school, from elementary school, from middle school, and thanks to the book, Facebook, you can stay connected with people probably way past the level of connection that's necessary in that relationship. I am grateful for relationships or connections that last for 10 moments and those that last for 10 years. It makes no difference to me. They're all impactful and they all mean something. So if you are involved in friendships or bonds that are no longer serving you, you won't have to get rid of the person. You won't have to get rid of the people. You won't have to shut them off or stop calling them or block them or whatever people are doing on social media to get rid of people. You don't have to do any of that. All you have to do is continue gaining your clarity, working towards your manifestations, becoming the most truest and authentic version of yourself. And those bonds and friendships that are no longer good for you, they will fall off so easy. You will have to do absolutely no work. And a lot of times it will fall off in a way that's pleasant to both people involved. And that's even more beautiful, right? Because you never know. You might be on the same page years down the road, and you don't want to have ended the connection in a very negative way, because it's not necessary for it to end that way, right? That's my number 2. Number 3 is you start to have less and less attention paid to your base desires. So if you ever hear people talking about your root chakra desires, your base desires, those instant gratification sort of desires, those things tend to fall by the wayside. And it's not that you're not going to enjoy being intimate with someone again. You're not going to enjoy, eating really, really greasy, good food that feels good to your mouth and, but really bad for your energy and your spirit. It's not that you're not going to enjoy doing things that may feel good in the moment, but may not have a long-term impact that's positive for you. Is that you no longer have a strong desire to even act that out, right? So say if you're a person that's like a heavy drinker, you like to drink a lot and like you're always thinking about, I need to get a drink tonight, or whatever that is. Whatever it is for you, I'm just naming one thing. I'm not attached to it in any kind of way. You won't have to push those things out of your life. You won't have to force yourself or try to use willpower to get rid of that very base desire that wants to act this thing out. It'll naturally just fall off, because the more you're authentic and truthful to yourself, the less you'll need those things that are like, I feel, are crutches sometimes in order to move your life forward on a day-to-day basis, right? Clarity, and you're becoming more of your true self. Those things that we call base desires and root chakra desires and stuff, they tend to fall by the wayside, and you don't even have to fight them off, right? So focus on going somewhere as opposed to running from something. That's the biggest difference that I notice. Number 4 is you also shed your false desires, right? So a lot of people, they wonder, what are false desires? So like when you were growing up or when you were going along your journey, you came across this idea of yourself that you wanted to have. And sometimes it was based on what other people thought you should be, or what other people thought you projected into the world. So you sort of played it all the way out because, well, I don't know who I am yet. Why not let other people and places and things kind of just tell me who I am to a certain degree, right? It's kind of like if someone's, that really hardcore Black Panther, power to the people kind of person, right? And then they want to fall in love with someone of a different ethnicity or a different race. And people are just like, oh, how can you? And it's because when you become your truthful and authentic self, you're less likely to pay attention to things like ethnicities and races and all those sort of things. And you're more likely to pay attention to the human being that's in front of your face, right? So it can easily happen to where you lose these false desires that were really desires of other people. People do this all the time with their careers. They go straight through. They do exactly what they said that they would do for their parents. I'm going to be a doctor. I'm going to finish in this many years. I'm going to do my residency here. I'm going to get accepted into this college. Then I'm going to buy a house. And then I'm going to get married. And then we're going to start a family. Then we're going to get a dog. And then we're going to start saving for retirement. And then we're going to go on vacation one time a year. This whole little thing. And when you start moving closer to the authentic, true version of yourself and gaining more clarity, you realize that really what you want in the first place, that you kind of wanted it because it appeased other people, right? So you definitely start to drop false desires. Like you can't even force yourself to pay attention to them anymore. They're kind of like useless. You're like, I'm really trying to act like I care about wanting this thing that I really just don't want anymore. And that's one that I've noticed is really big when you start working towards your manifestations and you get to the idea of everything that's not true in your world will begin to fall away. And that's just the bottom line. And last but not least, this is definitely a big one for a lot of people. It is you start to be way less attached to material and tangible things, right? So those things, even if you're not unattached to them, they'll find a way to fall out of your life so that you have no choice but to become a stronger and better person without being so attached to the material things. Because I myself, if you're on earth for 41 years, you'll have some stories to tell. I've had a lot of certain things at one time. I've had a whole lot of material things at different times in my life. And then I've had a whole lot less of it, right? And one of the last times when I had a whole lot less of it, I remember thinking that this feels like a culling. It feels like I'm being groomed for something that's even greater. And it has nothing to do with material things, but it's just my opportunity to show myself and the universe that I'm not attached to these things. So yeah, take it. If the house needs to be foreclosed, take it. If the car needs to be repossessed, take it. If that's where I'm at in my journey, then I'm just okay with that, right? So you'll find that when you're becoming more clear, it's like you have to break down everything to the foundation and then rebuild this fresh, new, authentic, and truthful version of yourself, right? So everything that is not true will fall away. And I hope that helps you today, right? I wanted to do a quick video. I just finished making some chickpea tacos. I'm excited about eating that. And I hope you all are having a wonderful, wonderful week. My little bamboo tree made an appearance. And it's actually my partner's bamboo tree, but he hasn't been taking care of it. So I guess it's mine now. And I hope y'all have a wonderful day. So just keep that in mind. Whenever you start moving along this journey and you start intentionally creating the life that you choose, you'll notice that a lot of things start to fall away. And it's okay for them to fall away, and you should even encourage it. You don't have to push them out the door. You don't have to get rid of them, but just know that it's open in a space for you to receive, of course, the thing that you would truly want. And I'm currently leaving the current position that I'm in with the job that I have right now. And it's always been a very cool place to be. I can always create my own schedule, create projects that I want. I kind of just wrote my own ticket the whole time I've been there. But in the recent move, I've not been able to work remotely permanently because, of course, everybody's going back into the office. But what's so funny is that I told him, I was like, this is the first time I'm leaving a position where I'm just not like trying to get rid of the people, like kicking them out of my life. Like, I'm so happy I'm done with that place. It is not like that at all. It was weird because I was like, why does it feel so easy to leave? And at the same time, why does it also not feel like it's always felt in the past? When things leave your life, are you getting closer to the truer, more authentic version of yourself? It never has to be a negative parting of ways, right? It can be beautiful. It can be thankful and be like, oh, wow, thank you for this time that we had. I feel so blessed to have experienced this moment in my life with you all. I appreciate it. Until we meet again, whatever, right? Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video today and watch some of the other videos that I have on manifesting the life you choose, because, going in by default, that is just not good enough. Then you caught up in everybody else's stuff and then you look around and you're just like, I didn't want this. Anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day.